everyone, it's Michael, and it is time to repot number 46 in my collection, my brand new Oncidium Twinkle White Pink. And I'm so excited to do this, in part because I just discovered that this orchid is very fragrant. I feel so silly for not realizing it before, but for the past couple of days, ever since I got it, I've been smelling something and I was like, what is that? Because the smell isn't floral, it's just kind of like this very subtle, peripheral, sweet scent. So I wasn't sure where it was coming from. I was actually checking the cabinets because I thought it was food, because I'm a fat kid at heart and I just thought there was food or cake. But it is this really, really lovely scent. So I already love this plant because I think it's so cute, and now to discover the smell, it's just like the cherry on top. So I've actually already selected the container that I'm going to repot it in, and I've drilled the drainage holes. If you guys don't know how to do that, I will link my video on how to below. So that's that. I think it's the perfect container and it's so precious. I also have my hydrogen peroxide spray bottle. I have my 70% isopropyl alcohol to disinfect my cutting tool, which is right here just in case I find any decaying roots or any decaying anything inside of the potting container. And I also have a nice little receptacle for all of the old potting medium. So let's go in closer and we will talk through the entire process. All right, friends, here we are. So ordinarily the way that I would start this process is by soaking the entire orchid to ensure that the old potting medium can easily come loose from the root system. But this one, it looks like it was relatively recently potted. It does not look very densely packed, so I'm just going to take a chance and bet that it's going to come out just fine. So I'm going to very gently give the pot a squeeze and tug out this little guy. And I was right. It came right out. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. Oh no. Well, that's not good. Well, so there's a little division that just came off by itself. It's just a single bulb, but I don't think I want to pot that by itself. I think it needs to have friends. Okay, so I'm just going to keep this all together, even though it just separated itself. But just look how cute it is. Oh my gosh, it's such a small plant. The root system actually appears super healthy. So here, let me take you in on it. But as you can see, the root system is, I don't actually see any dead or decaying roots. This looks like a really healthy plant. So that's pretty easy. Also, I have been looking really, really carefully for any sign of mealybugs or anything like that, and I'm just not seeing anything, which is a great, great sign for me. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna go ahead and give this a quick rinse with water. I'm gonna take care to avoid the blooms because that'll obviously shorten the life of the blooms. I'm going to rinse off the root system and then we'll come back and treat it with hydrogen peroxide. All right, I've gone ahead and given her a rinse, and if this taught me anything, and also just looking at the general anatomy of this plant, it looks very, very delicate. I want to make sure I'm treading lightly with it because even the new growth looks like it's just hanging on by a thread. So I'm going to proceed very, very gently with this guy, but I'm just going to go ahead and now treat the root system with hydrogen peroxide to make sure that if there's any bacteria, any snails, anything like that, that is taken care of. So I'm just gonna go ahead and give it a quick spritz, set a timer for 10 minutes, and then come back. I'm gonna set her right side up inside of this container. All right. Okay, Google, set a timer for 10 minutes.
Sure, 10 minutes, starting now.
10 minutes has passed, so I've gone ahead and rinsed the root system as well as some of the pseudobulbs. Now, I do want to say one thing about this little gal who is completely divided herself. The general rule of thumb when dividing an orchid is that there need to be at least 3 pseudobulbs for the orchid to continue uninterrupted. Single bulb divisions tend to not do very well. So you might be asking yourself, well, it's by itself already, so isn't it going to do poorly? That's a possibility, but when you group one divided pseudobulb with the mother plant is better able to regulate the moisture levels, the nutrient levels, so it's better off with its mother than it is by itself, not unlike humans. So now I'm going to go ahead and begin the repot process. So what I'm going to do, as always, is I'm going to take leca and fill to where the drainage holes are. Oop, that was too much. Okay, so right about there is perfect. Now I'm going to go ahead and place the orchid. Now when you do this, you always want to be conscientious of where the new growths are. So obviously we have a new growth growing in here. You want to make sure it has space to grow. Not that it's going to take up too much space, being such a cute little tiny plant. But I'm gonna go ahead and place this like so, so it has plenty of room to grow out this way. So now that that's there, I'm gonna make sure that this guy isn't left out of the party. And I think we're good right there. So I'm gonna take the leca and just fill right around it. And there you have it. She has been all potted up. She looks so cute. And even the lone wolf over here is now a part of the mix. So there's two last steps in this process. The first thing I'm gonna do is take plain distilled water and give this a good flush. Now, again, I explain this every single time, but the reason we use plain distilled water is that after a treatment that is antibacterial, like hydrogen peroxide, the root system is stripped of all of the mutually beneficial bacteria that help it to process and metabolize nutrient solution. So if you use a nutrient solution, the roots are exposed and it has a strong likelihood to burn. So you wanna give the root system an opportunity to heal from both the antibacterial treatment and the trauma of the repot before you introduce nutrient solution into your semi-hydroponic container. So if you'll excuse me for a moment, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a quick flush with the distilled water and I will be right back. So I've gone ahead and given number 46 a quick flush with plain distilled water. I've left distilled water in the reservoir for it to drink from. And now the last step in this process is to just apply some really strong moving air. The reason I do this, and this is a relatively new development for my repot processes, I like to make sure that if I've gotten water in any critical areas, like into a new growth or somewhere that's going to potentially create rot, I want to make sure that that's fully dried out. So what I do is I take my little mini fan here, I aim it directly at the plant, and I turn it on to low. And I'll let this run until I feel confident that everything has been dried out. So there you have it. Thank you guys so much for choosing to spend your time with me. If you have any questions, concerns, or feedback, go ahead and leave it in the comment section below. Don't forget to click subscribe and have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye guys.